Let's go fishing.
What fun.
Absolutely.
Colin's very jealous and I'm going to try and catch a trout. Do you think we will?
I think we will. There we go.
I admit I'm not the most expert angler in the world, but I've always been tinny. And Robert tells me that here at his well-stocked trout farm in central Victoria, my odds are very good.
We've got that bit of corn and we'll put 3 pieces on the hook.
Easier than a worm.
Absolutely.
Who goes first?
You will, yeah. There we are. I'll hand you this
All
one.
right.
No, just underarm now. Yeah.
Underarm.
Yeah, just straight out. And wait for the bite.
And what do I do when it bites?
Panic.
Standing still is not my normal way, so patiently fishing's quite foreign to me, but a great trout is certainly worth waiting for.
Oh, you've got one.
I have.
Well done. Lift him up. Big fish. Look at that. He's a beauty. You caught one as big as that before. What a beautiful fish. Fit for a beautiful meal.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
What are you doing to my kitchen?
OK, I'm going to blow this out quickly, Maggie.
It's good.
We gone?
What on earth have you got in there?
Oh, I've got a bit of fish in there, because I hear you went fishing.
I went fishing, country Victoria,
Yeah.
near Dalesford. I went to a trout farm with the friendliest trout you've ever seen because
Really?
I was able to catch one.
Fantastic.
We ate it fresh that night,
Yeah.
but I decided that I would do smoke today, but you've
Well,
stolen my thunder.
I'm sorry, I heard you were doing smoking, and it's a funny story. My mum lives in Queensland, and her next-door neighbour, Joshua, makes these smokers. I've been using them at work, and they're really cute.
You're obviously doing a smoked trout, and I'm just going to do a pasta with my smoked trout. So what are you...
Oh, I'm going to make a sandwich.
Oh, OK.
And I like hot smoking. You know, cold smoking's a lot of work, and if you can hot smoke well, and the professional guys, more power to them, but as a home person, you can actually do a reasonable job, and it's fun. Look, I like tea smoking, but not for a trout. I'm wood smoking, and this is a red gum, and I've just got a tablespoon of lemon myrtle. I like the Australian flavours for smoking. There's something about the bush on fire that smells quite nice. Not if you live there, I'm sure. Mountain pepper leaf. White pepper, or you could use whole mountain pepper. And I love the sweetness of fennel in a smoking mix. And you can't go without bay. Definitely not. And look, since the dawn of time, we've been obsessed with fire. Well, I have. And the only important thing I'll say that I like to do, and it's not a professional thing, is to fan the fish out so that the smoke's going right through the guts, right up through the whole fish. But I might take this outside because it is very...
I think that's a very good idea. Can I open the door for you?
And we'll bring him back in later, Maggie, when he's behaving himself a bit better.
OK. Well, I decided with my smoked trout I was going to serve green tomato pasta sauce because right now any tomatoes you've got hanging on your vine are green, and I love the flavour of the green tomatoes when you cook them with apples and sultanas in that very Sicilian way. I've already sautéed my onion and garlic off. I'm going to cook the green tomatoes, and even though I want the acidity of the green tomato, I need a balance, and I'm actually going to add some sugar.
OK.
This was only 50 grams of sugar. It just looks a lot when I'm putting it in like this. And I'm using sour apples, Granny Smith apples. This is sautéing, not boiling.
Yeah.
And I've got some raisins here that have been reconstituted overnight. I reconstituted them in verjuice, but that's because I'm using verjuice in the sauce. I put the sultanas or raisins in right now because I want them to plump up and really be sweet in the cooking. A little bit of verjuice now, just a bit. So this has just got to cook down now. What about you?
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to do a trout sandwich, so I've got this nice loaf of bread here. I'm going to make a mayonnaise. So that's 2 egg yolks and a bit of salt. And I like a lot of mustard in my mayonnaise. That's almost a tablespoon of Dijon. And get a bit of pepper in there too. And I'm going to do a bit of a herby mayonnaise because it suits the fish so well. So I've got a couple of cloves of garlic and just get it sort of together. I've got about 100 mils of grapeseed, 100 mils of extra virgin olive oil.
Do you want them both together or do you want one after the other?
I don't mind. I find it easier to get the olive oil to emulsify. You get a very stable mayonnaise with olive oil. And these little plastic whisks are actually quite good. They look pathetic. It looks like a toy whisk, but they spring around a bit and they actually accelerate the whisking. And we're pretty safe now. That's looking pretty good. And I think that's about all it'll manage.
OK.
It's at saturation point. See how the mayo doesn't really want to take much more oil in. It's sort of saying, I've had enough, and then back off with your acid. Maybe, I don't know how many lemons that is, whatever you like. That should taste fine. I think we've all made enough mayonnaises in our time. And herbs, dill, definitely, and I think I'll put chervil, and I have to have parsley because the smoke, I think you need clean flavours, and these are fish flavours, and that's a good clean flavour. So really that's it, Maggie.
Well, this is all cooked down now. So, and I've lost that beautiful green colour.
But it looks really nice.
But what I'm going to do is I've got some basil here and verjuice and extra virgin olive oil, so I've made it into a paste.
Yep.
So I'm now going to put that in right at the top note.
That looks nice.
Now, this is warm, so don't use your hands over steam. Straight into your bowl that you have warmed. Now, this is enough tomato pasta sauce for quite a few people.
I could eat it just like that, I reckon, Maggie. It's all sticky and gooey. It's all gonna...
It's very sticky and gooey. I've already flaked the flesh off the trout.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put most of the trout in, and I'll leave the last of the trout on top. This spaghettini is so fine, it's quite hard to toss. So plan B is I'll put
It'll work itself out.
that on top. Rustic is my style after all. Just this around and lots of parsley on top because you need that green, and we can't go without that last bit of extra virgin olive oil.
Well, it's a first for me, Maggie.
First, a green tomato pasta sauce, or...?
The whole thing, but a green
combination?
tomato pasta sauce first, and I love green tomato. But you know what I really like as well? That the trout's in nice chunks. It's not all...
Yeah, bitsy.
Oh, that's great.
Combination?
Yeah, yeah. The apple's really coming through too. You can still taste those tomatoes. It's fantastic.
It's the best use of that end-of-season stuff.
Mine's not quite as subtle, because that's a very nice subtle marriage of flavours. This little guy here, you know, you can smoke from 20 minutes hot smoke to almost a couple of hours if you want. It really doesn't matter.
And can I have the skin too? Can we eat the skin?
The smell's good. That's come up nicely. She wants the skin. But there's just a
that layer of fat under the skin when it's all burnished is
you like
really,
that, don't
really
you?
fabulous.
There's a layer of rendered fat that sticks between the skin and the meat, and it is sensational. It is really good.
And most people throw it away.
So I think that'll do. And I'm going to add some Spanish onion, because I think it just needs a bit of aliveness. So I snuck in a few extra ingredients, as I always do. Into the mayonnaise, I rebooted the lemon myrtle, which was in the fish mix, so I just folded a bit into the mayo, and I think lemon zest too. None of this was in the plan. Now, I want a big quantity of bread here, Maggie.
We call this in the Barossa a schnitter.
What do you call it?
A schnitter.
What does that mean?
A sandwich full of fish and mayonnaise and, yes.
So it's a normal sort of thing, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I was being original. But this is a lot of mayo, but I think you just eat... Probably one is your whole lunch, you know, so be generous, just boot it all up and then just pop the trout in and there'll be a bone or two, but who cares? According to your smoke mix, adjust your mayos or whatever, but this isn't a bad combo. Let's see how we go, Maggie. That's a big sandwich. Oh, that's worked out well. I'm happy with that.
The mayo, the trout and the onion. The onion's terrific.
And a good bread, that's probably important.
You can be a Barossa person.
Never.
Schnitter.
When I first became exec chef, one of the first things I did was insist on free-range eggs.
So how's it all going?
Yeah, we're doing really well at the moment.
John Morby is my egg supplier, and it's great to visit and be reminded why I'm paying extra for free-range.
This is the baby shed, and they're 1 month old at the moment.
Yeah? What breed is this?
These are New Hampshires.
What age will they start popping eggs for you?
About 16 to 18 weeks. They peak normally at about 25, 26 weeks of lay.
Yep.
And then it's a slow decline right up to 76, 80 weeks of age.
Bit like us.
Very much so.
Yeah? Well, let's see the actual egg guys.
No way,
then.
let's see them laying. As soon as they start to lay, they've got 24/7 free range. They can come in and out. We don't lock them up at all.
The one thing that really confuses me is all of these stickers and labels on boxes, barn-laid free range, I mean, blah, blah, blah. What do they all mean?
There's actually 3 methods of production of eggs. You've got the cage industry,
Yep.
which they're locked in a cage. You've got your barn lay, which
Yep.
are actually kept in sheds.
Yep.
Or you've got the free range.
I have to confess, I've actually had some cage eggs that taste nearly as good. Tell me what's the difference?
If you feed the cage shed or the barn industry on the same feed that we feed our birds, if they're a very similar age bird, you'll find a very minute difference, if any difference at all.
So you're paying, to me, an animal welfare tax.
You're paying a system. You're paying for the total system. It's more expensive to do this, what we're doing.
Young lady looked very happy. And she looks so shiny. You washed them all before I came,
The whole
didn't you?
lot, yeah.
Squeeze me, ladies. Come on. What do you reckon? Will it make the grade?
That'll make the grade. This actually is a braider. It's got a 1,000-watt globe and it makes the egg transparent, so you
Yep.
can see the quality of the egg.
And mine's better than the rest.
Oh, the way you picked that up was just fantastic. Want to go out and pack some eggs off now, or
I
are you
knew
just
that was
gonna
coming.
hang around?
And so I was put to work with the family. Wow! Look at that girl go. Well, it's quite therapeutic, really, isn't it?
Here you go.
A good start, but the pressure soon got to me. I resign, and they'll take that as severance pay. Maggie, I got to actually pack the eggs myself, and he's got this beautiful old egg packer. It's fantastic. You need a really good egg to do this dish, and the ones that I like are wheat, and you like the corn-feds, I know.
I do.
And soy meal. John uses soy meal, so they're a nice egg. But what are you doing with eggs today, Maggie?
Well, I've got my chook eggs and I'm going to make a bacon and egg pie, but I think I better make the pastry first because I decided to make it for breakfast,
Yeah.
so I'd put oats in the pastry.
Cool.
Is that okay?
That's great.
So I think I should just put all my ingredients in. This is a version of the sour cream pastry that I make all the time
Yep.
because I just find it so fantastic. Why go to the trouble of anything else?
Yep.
So all I'm going to do is pulse it before I put the oats in because I don't want to break the oats up too much.
Yep.
So I want to get this almost to the breadcrumb stage before the oats and then the sour cream. I love oats for breakfast. And I love texture in pastry.
Yeah.
And so that was just one of these little ideas, and let's see if it works.
I think it's great.
I have tried it off screen. Now, the sour cream pastry, to 250 flour and 200 butter and 60 grams of oats, every time you use flour, the amount of liquid will be different that you need. So I always start with about no more than 3/4 to see if you need that last bit. But because I've put the oats in, I'm expecting that I'll need it all because I put that extra volume. And I'm right. So I'll put this in, and I use this machine because my hands are really warm.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yeah, you're alive.
I'm alive. And it's just a fantastic pastry. Now, it's coming together in the machine, but I don't take it any further, and I'll just pull it together as I've done in other shows.
This is the no working one.
This
yeah.
is the absolutely no working one. And I'll just put this out on the bench, and just put it together with my hands. Really, I'm patting it together. So I just have to cover that and refrigerate it for about 20 minutes, even though I've done some in advance.
Cool. Well, I forgot to tell you what I was making, Maggie. You're making a kooky breakfast. I'm making an egg dinner, and I'm making egg yolk ravioli.
Eggs at any time of the day.
Oh, I just love this dish, I really do. That's 200 grams of double O or strong flour, and we have some beautiful local strong flour. That's 1 egg whole and 1 egg yolk. That's my pasta ratio. Fold together, work, add a splidge of water just to bring it together if you need it. You don't always need it.
Mm-hmm.
And knead till shiny, 10 minutes of kneading probably. And here's my dough. It's been rested, rolled out, and then rested again. The second rest, not too long, just to let it spring back. And I asked Maggie how thick she would think, because I was a little bit thick, and that's the second last stop. And I think you're right. So I'm going to do a big one. So all you do is get your cutter. Thanks for being my coat hanger, Maggie.
It's my role in life.
So I'm going to do 2, even though this recipe would do 4 generous entree size. But all you have to do is get yourself a beautiful vegetarian free-range egg. And just remove the white and keep the white. You're going to need that. And just pop him down. Now, there is one train of thought. I don't know how you feel, Maggie, but a little bit of egg white, because it's higher in protein. It just stops the egg yolk actually sliding around, because that'll set really quickly. And then I use the egg white to do the seal up as well. I love this dish. The first time I ever ate it, I just was reminded how, you know, simple, perfect flavours, doesn't need any extra sort of work, and just pin down the edges. And then I continually pin until I just get that beautiful little middle shape. And I like a lot of pasta, Maggie, but some people like to make them a bit smaller. And then you can pop those down onto a floured tray once you've done them all, and then, you know, wait till you're ready to cook. I just got an air bubble in there, Maggie, and it bothers me.
It's annoying you.
It's really annoying
See, I
me.
wouldn't worry about an air bubble. I'd be
But
so
anyway,
happy I had it. Yeah.
You carry on, I'll make a
All
couple
right,
more.
OK. I happen to have here Berkshire bacon, but even though it's been smoked, it's been cold smoked, whereas a lot of bacon's already been cooked.
Why did they do it?
I don't know why they do it, but I wish they didn't. And the flavour of the bacon, the flavour of the eggs, all of those things, you know, we're talking simple, so everything's got to be great.
Yeah.
Now, let me see. I've got a circle that's been sitting in the fridge from a previous lot of pastry, and now I've got to have it malleable enough to sit in here, but I've actually put some paper in the base just to make sure it doesn't stick. Because the trick here is I'm not cooking the pastry in advance.
Oh, OK, so it's all going in raw.
It's all going in raw. So a bit of butter that's allowed that to sit there. Now, just minutes out of the fridge, and this has become malleable enough, but I'll get this one ready first before I go back. The bacon, I want to put it around the edges, because this is a pretty special breakfast, I have to say. So here, I've got the bacon around the edge. I've got 1 egg and a tablespoon of cream, and then just a spoonful of this in the bottom, the cream in the bottom, cream and egg yolk. And then I'm going to slip the 2 eggs in the top and then put a little bit more of this in. So what we have here is just a little bit in the base.
Cool.
And then slip in the 2 eggs and egg white. And I'm going to put some salt and pepper, some chives, and put it, the rest of the cream, and put it into the oven and set the table.
Beautiful. They're cute, aren't they?
I think they're beautiful. And then some chives, and then they're ready to go into the oven.
It's great.
I'm putting it into a 200-degree oven because I've got to make sure the pastry cooks for 20 minutes, but everyone's oven will be different, and mine might even take a few more minutes.
All right, well, these are a very quick cook. I'd say 2-3 minutes. An egg yolk generally takes 3 to 4 minutes, but I want it really, really runny. I've got a pot of water, salt it up, and oil it up so they don't stick, and then slide them in, and gentle, not too fierce. The pasta's probably, what, 2 minutes?
Till it raises back up?
Yeah. So 2 minutes for the pasta and probably plus a minute for the egg yolk. I'm hoping to just like a perfectly 3-minute boiled egg is what I'm after, where the yolk's just oozy.
Or a 2-minute, 20-second one.
Yeah, okay.
That it really is. Because you've got no white.
Yeah, true.
You can really push that boundary.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. For this dish, you have to make your own pasta. You have to. There's no excuses. A couple of times a week, we make fresh pasta. For me, it's all about not overworking the flour, but working it enough so it's got a great texture. And most of all, it's about touch and feel and resting. Once the pasta's made, we put it in a fridge to rest. This is really important because it allows the gluten to relax and stops spring back when you roll it. The thickness that we roll the pasta and the width that we cut it all depends on the type of sauce or dish that it's going with. But the final say is always up to the chef that made the pasta. Luke's chosen to make fettuccine, and he reckons it'll be perfect with a creamy sauce to stick to the strands of pasta. All right, so I turned those once, Maggie, because they are a little bit of floaters at the best of times, and probably a minute each side, give or take a bit. There's a little bit of a margin here, but not too much. It's not the sort of dish you can, you know, have people outside talking. You sit them down.
Sit them down and make them.
Tell them it's ready. Now, the way that I've always eaten this, or had it served to me, is with nut brown butter, but I just thought I'm just going to serve it with olive oil.
You're going to be pure.
Pure. I want to really taste just the egg. Now, remember, there's no seasoning at all on this mix yet, so do salt the top of the pasta. And then I need, of course, the obligatory Parmesan cheese, and absolutely buckets of it. And I love this as an entree. It's a great way to start a meal. And what excites me most, Maggie, and this would be true to your heart, is it really shows the chef for what he is. There's no room for error. There's certain steps you have to follow. He had to have bought top quality ingredients or it's going to show.
Absolutely. No pretense here.
Yeah. OK, Maggie.
Ah, perfect. This is the time to have this. Oh. That's real comfort food. Beautiful.
Yeah?
Flavours.
We good?
We're good.
We both agreed we'd like to eat this when we're feeling sooky.
We all do sometimes, don't we? It's so true.
Well, that's the sooky dinner. How's the snazzy breakfast?
Oh, I'll go and check. OK. Let them sit a bit before you do this. And, of course, you need that 200-degree oven to cook the pastry. But will it overcook the egg?
They're so cute.
And look, I had chives in it and I thought I'd do a Simon thing and tie them up in a bundle, you know, that pretty stuff you do.
Hey,
Okay.
It's not going to be overcooked, Maggie. I saw it wobble.
Did you see it wobble?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
not
hope so.
going to be overcooked. Look, it's too pretty to wreck, but I have to. No, it's beautiful, Maggie. Look at that. It's beautiful.
It's still runny. Is it too runny? This is breakfast all in one, OK?
Oh, mate.
The bacon, did you get the bacon?
I didn't, but I'm going to go separate. You know what I love here?
What?
The fact that you've got
look.
that nice soft egg protein. This soft bit here with the cream. That bacon's unbelievable.
Isn't it great? Otherwise, if you didn't have really good bacon, you wouldn't do it. But because the saltiness in the bacon, and it is still lovely and runny inside.
No, it's
if I
great.
had have let it sit for about 10 minutes, it would sort of congeal a little bit more, but it would keep its heat. So it would be easier if you wanted to share.
Well, you've redefined the egg and bacon pie, because honestly, they're normally just rubber and horrible. That's beautiful.
I'm going to have another bit.
Oh, that's
Can I?
great. But I think we've been very simple today, Maggie.
Oh, we're simple people. Do I need the fire extinguisher?
The metho's dribbled out over the edge. The smell of human burning hair. I kill him. Very good.